Sinners is the newest film from Ryan Coogler, director of Fruitvale Station, Black Panther and Creed. This is his first real stab at a wholly original IP, and at its heart it's a love letter to the blues, given mass market appeal with the introduction of vampires and grisly violence. There are also lashings of psychedelic intrigue, racial politics, and at the root of it all, an appreciation for the power of music. It's not an easy movie to categorize. Though billed as a horror film, Sinners is not your typical slasher flick in the vein of Saw or Scream, and plays out more like a shape-shifting 3-act play, with the first act telling a fairly benign story of two twins, Smoke and Stack, looking to recruit staff for the opening of a juke joint, a mix between a nightclub and a speakeasy. Both Smoke and Stack are played by Michael B. Jordan. Smoke is more serious, Stack far more easygoing, and Jordan does a decent job distinguishing the two, although a lot of the heavy lifting is done by the different outfits and hats that each version of Jordan wears throughout the film. Act 2 is where Sinners really hits its stride. Now stationed inside the juke joint, the crowd listens enraptured to a talented blues musician named Sammy play a haunting blues tune. The performance is mesmerizing, complete with a psychedelic twist that catches you off guard before building into something truly cool. It's a striking set piece and full of kinetic energy without a punch being thrown or blood being spilled, but it draws the attention of Remick, a vampire, and his two cohorts. I won't spoil too much, but the second act is the best, as the humans huddle inside the juke joint while Remick tries to turn as many daywalkers as he can. There are some very humorous turns, especially from a drunkard called Slim and a hulking doorman named Cornbread. These characters provide plenty of comic relief, and the movie makes you care about the survival of all the humans inside the joint. There's a real sense of tension as you wonder whether your favourite character has been turned or not, and the film harkens back to The Thing, as the humans interrogate one another while the vampires pick off unsuspecting bystanders, like the great white shark from Jaws. As the night grows long, the action ramps up, with some truly grisly scenes that earn Sinners its mature rating. But as dawn breaks, the film reaches its conclusion, ending one long day in the life of its principal protagonists. Is Sinners worth a watch? Yes, but it defies easy characterization, and it doesn't always feel as if it's bothered about telling a coherent tale. This is a story of mythology more than logic, and in a sense it's drawing parallels with the incomprehensible force music can exert on us, a force that falls beyond the bounds of common sense. It's a beautiful movie as well. Mostly shot at night, the visual effects work a treat, and it's dripping in atmosphere. A shout out to the sound and visual editing teams, who together create something really slick, with several neat cuts and techniques that see important scenes in Act 2 juxtaposed against the cacophony of music playing in the main part of the club, together creating a natural tension. Ludwig Göransson's soundtrack is also excellent, with a constant feeling of forward motion, and no, it's not all blues. But it's not a perfect movie, not by a stretch. Though billed as a genre movie, it's a lot more ambitious than that, and not all of it hangs together well. The opening act is slow moving, and the best parts of the film, namely those in the juke joint, could have filled the entire runtime. The accents can also be hard to discern. Everyone is speaking with a thick southern twang, which makes sense given this is 1930s Mississippi, but it's not the easiest to pick up, and a lot of the dialogue I didn't catch. Michael B. Jordan playing himself twice also doesn't make a huge amount of sense. Sure, it's neat to see the same man side by side, with no way of telling that in order to achieve the effect, the same scene was filmed twice, but it also feels like an unnecessarily complicated trick that doesn't add anything to the overall experience. Then there are some things left unsaid, some logical leaps of faith you need to take, like why the vampires have to be invited inside the juke joint and can't simply break inside. Sure, you need to suspend your disbelief in a movie like this, but the internal logic doesn't always hang tough, and it's hard not to feel that this narrative device was included simply to keep the good guys and the bad guys away from one another long enough to ramp up the stakes. It works for narrative tension, but it's also plot jank that'll leave you scratching your head. Still, there's more good than bad, and I need to make special mention of newcomer Miles Caton, who plays Sammy. He's not only an accomplished singer, but a damn fine actor. The entire supporting cast does an admirable job, and there's so much style on offer that you can't help but be impressed. Watch this on the biggest screen you can, and prepare to be blown away. In the end, it's rather more style than substance, but if you're in the mood for a surreal meditation on the power of music and the way it moves us all, there's a lot to like in Sinners.